Good morning, everyone. I'm just opening up my trading view and see what is out there. I have literally no clue what is out there. Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar coming lower. Euro New Zealand, as I saw earlier today, had a bit of a bump higher at the level I want to happen, and then British pound, New Zealand dollar. Ooh, okay. Coming back down to where I think I want to have it. Now, if you are new here, very much welcome. If you're new to trading, you're very much welcome as well. If you have questions, ask any stupid questions because there is no stupid questions. Yeah, to be honest with you, it's going to be fantastic. Anyways, good morning, Sister Kettle. Oh, by the way, sorry, before anything else, welcome Jack as a member for 14 months on this channel. Boom. Before I mention any other names. What a legend. Okay. Now, Sister Kettle, good morning. Good morning, Trevin. Good morning, Safir. Any thoughts on gold? We shall do so in a split moment. Just mentioning that I am bearish on New Zealand dollar pairs, and I am trying to actually find to New Zealand weakness. Now, today, this morning, we have a potential buy entry on British pound, New Zealand dollar. So have that in mind. All right, gold. We can start out with gold. As mentioned yesterday, I don't want it to. I didn't want the person to sell it yesterday. On A1 streaming on A1 stream, which is still my position, because it's still technically where I would love to have sold. Now, the person sold here, fair enough, whatever, great, congratulations with profits, but don't do that too often. That's kind of like where I'm standing. Well, the reason I'm standing there is because I've tried this before, and it tends to come up there anyways. So that's kind of the deal there. For those who bought, fair enough. But yeah. In between there, I'm kind of neutral now. I want to buy it. So this isn't a good buy opportunity. I talked last week, I think it was Thursday or Friday, on Turner's YouTube channel about can't remember the guy's name right now, buying here, and I'm like, I don't like that buy, because why couldn't it just continue higher from here? If it is bullish, why did it break lower here? I don't like that. So he bought there, and yet again, what happens? What I believed anyways. So I'm not gonna say I'm right, ha 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 ha. But anyways, so gold right now is bit of a neutral position for me. Nothing great is coming out of gold at this moment. Eddie, good morning. So this morning, good morning this morning. So just gonna do something. Okay, cool. I'm just watching another stream as well. It's pretty funny. It's my training coach is live right now, so I'm just supporting in the background, and people are asking, how do I reduce my big legs? So that's why I was laughing a bit. Cool. So New Zealand, British pound, New Zealand dollar. Can we buy this one right now? Does this fit our criteria? Yes, to an extent, and no to the other extent. Yes, it does. We are coming down to central pivot, but the problem is I'll probably put a small lot on here in a short second, but we don't. The other one is we also still have to remember to buy it at 0.9952. So if you are, by the way, there's nothing to be with me on here even. So I'm just going to do it on my own little accord. And then, so see, pound New Zealand dollar, 0.02, I think, what size? Yeah, 0.02. Put a buy on. You guys could hear my. You can't hear it. Okay, sorry. I'm just going to do that, and then share screen, share sound, share that one, share the right screen. There we go. 3, 2, 1. I don't know why I love that. I don't know why I love that. Love that sound, but there we go. Anyways, schedule. Oh yeah, New Zealand CAD, more New Zealand weekends ahead. CAD strength CPI later for. This is British pound New Zealand dollar, so I'm expecting pound strength and British pound New Zealand weakness. So stop loss is pretty far. This one I am I need at least below 99 1.9920 below here, at least below those. It's pretty far away, so that's why I don't like it. That's why I'm saying I buy it. You don't need to, and I'm not gonna shout to the mountains that I did it because this is early. So if this one turns around, which it might not do, but if it breaks high here, then I will shout because then you can use that as your support level. Pound news is not good though for pound. CPI is good enough for me. I have a bit less interested in other ones. So this morning, average hourly earnings is 6.7, still very high, by the way. 46 is claimant count change. Doesn't really matter. Unemployment rate 3.9. Okay, maybe that one, but that's what I'm saying. I do that. I'm doing this. I do this trade. You guys don't need to. And I will kind of do it in peace, and I don't have any issues with it. But the thing is, this month filter. So what I do, what I can like tell you guys to do, United Kingdom. When you go through things, right? Go from the peak, right? What is it? Manufacturing is better than expected. PMIs is better than expected. They did raise interest rates last time, and they probably want to talk about that. They're not going to do it in the future, but they always do that. Industrial production was better than expected. Manufacturing was better than expected. GDP was at 0.1, which was expected, which is not great, by the way. So even though you can say this morning we don't have fantastic news with the unemployment rate, we have better than expected generally. And when was their economics? United Kingdom. By the way, I'm in loss on that trade. By the way, if you want to know. Interest rate inflation 10.1, and that one came out for April 19th, and the next one is 24th. So there is still a good week until next time. So that's kind of my position there. Right? So why does all of this matters? It doesn't probably, but it's all about generally what for me moves the market and generally what should move the market. So as you would say that, what about today? What about implement? Why do I care less about it? The reason for that is pretty simple. the overall trends, the underlying currents that I try to talk about sometimes, is the ones that are still very strong. But my entry is at 20018, so 2018. That's my entry there. So laugh as much as you want. So cool. What else are we going to talk about? Is there any other currency pairs you want me to cover? As London is waking up and dragging things down. British pound, dollar. Yesterday I said somewhere to sell somewhere up here, and then it fell later this morning because of those things. Fine. But is that a good sell? No, not really. It's kind of in the middle. And with that strong pullback, it generally tends to go up there anyway. So it's just that one time it did not work out. Doesn't mean it's always going to work this way. Hi, John. Please enlighten us regarding money supply. How does it affect currency? Okay. Very, very simple. It affects directly. So when you have money supply, which in America is being driven by interest rates, which in turn goes to the banks, and banks are borrowing at this rate. And then banks gives to you, in Norway, probably like a plus 2% above whatever the interest rate is. And then they give it out as a loan. In regards to money supply, that is how the Fed is controlling, good or bad, money supply. Now, you are, what are you? You are, first of all, a consumer. You are, maybe second of all, a business owner. And you are, third of all, you take loans. What do you call that in debitor, creditor, debitor? You are also a debitor. In that essence, or if you're not a business, you are an employee. In that essence, you spend money, right? If you have a lot of money, you have that creates economic activity. Then that business can pay for. If you go to a store, they can pay for goods and services that they have brought into the store. They can pay their employees. They can pay their loans. They can start investing. Once that happens, it goes over to E. They can invest. Their businesses can invest because of you spending money. How was that supposed to be now? Because you have a lot of money. But if you have little money or few money, then this one is reduced. And how do you have little money, and how can you increase your money pretty easily and pretty fast? Loaning money. So by increasing the interest rate and making it more difficult to loan, having more regulations, having more rules, the money supply in the economy reduces, because that you having money increases, or if you don't have, decreases the economic activity, which is the value of the economy. And what is the value of the economy? Currency. So that is one way of doing it. The other way of doing it is QE or QT. What is QE and QT? QE is quantitative easing, where they buy. They go to banks and say, "Hey, we have some bonds we want to sell to you. We'll give you a very good rate." And the banks are like, "Yeah, hey, sorry, the central bank with QE goes to the banks and say, hey, I'm going to buy your bonds, and banks are like, but we have to have a better price. Well, we'll give you that. Cool. Fed buys bonds, banks gets money, money goes to you through loans and investments and whatever. That is QE, where they give money to banks because they bought bonds, because they bought a product. And what do banks have all of a sudden? $2 trillion. What are they going to do with $2 trillion? Give it out or invest it or somehow make money out of it. QT is the opposite, quantitative tightening. That's where that same Fed goes to that same bank and say, hey, do you want to buy our bonds at a better rate, by the way? Okay, the bank says, okay, cool, I will make money there again. Now they have less money and at the same time increasing interest rates, which makes you have less, which makes you go less to the store, less to restaurant, less to cinemas, buy less cars, buy less cabins, buy less houses, which makes the entire economy tank, which again is the value of the economy, which is then the currency that we're trying to trade. That makes sense? No, Trevin. QE weakness and QT strength on currency. So QE makes the currency weaker because there's more of, because the banks in that sense directly get more money, then they loan it out to you because they have to get rid of that money, have to make money they have to make money on that money, which devalues the currency. When you tighten, you take away that money, there's less money in the market, and it makes it stronger because there's less supply. Is this economic or finance? I don't know. By the way, I have a master's degree in economics, so somewhere in between finance and economics. So, John, where are we currently in the QE QT world, quantitative easing, quantitative tightening in the United States of America? To take an example, just to see, how are you able to digest? What is the current stand in America in terms of all of this we just mentioned? In terms of interest rates, in terms of banks, in terms of you. Is it easier? Is it more difficult? Night. Thank you, man. Thank you. So, a question to everyone: where are we currently in the United States of America? For that matter, I'm not from there, so don't worry about me. But it's the biggest economy that we're trading, so it has the most important impact on all currencies. What is the current interest rate, and what is the current QE QT programs that we currently have? And does that make the dollar weaker, or does that make the dollar stronger? Jack says they're currently doing QT. Ivan, what do you think about Euro 108.50 to 109.17? Trevin says QT. I will actually go and check that out because there's nothing worse than acting out of ignorance. So let's look at their recent report. They say that they have decided to raise interest rate to 5 to 5.25. Okay, where are we then? Interest rates are rising, money supply is lower. That should increase dollar, at least in the beginning of it. Your spendage goes down. What about QE QT then? In addition, the committee will continue reducing its holdings of treasury securities, aka bonds, agency debt, and agency mortgage-backed securities, which is the next secure thing that you can do, as described in previously announced plans. They are doing as Trevin, as Jack says, QT. Correct. And says all it matters is that ceiling right now. Now, and that is a different thing. Mostly because this is just generally, you know. But yes, we can discuss that. We discussed it last year, by the way, and it's gonna probably strengthen the dollar a bit. And then once they have found out an agreement, probably in the last hour, dollar's gonna weaken. So until that is resolved, yes, we are. It's gonna be, oh my god, what is happening, kind of a thing. But don't you worry. Yeah. Nate says, Ivan, with a D. Yeah, serious question. Been thinking about lately. Do you ever think dollar will become irrelevant? Not the world trade currency like China wants. I don't, because they don't have a free market. You? Okay, that is a big question. Um, let me cite some very important things here. First of all, as far as I've learned on TikTok, owned by China, but on TikTok there is a guy, a Chinese guy. He said something very interesting. He lives in America, by the way, but he said that the Chinese yuan will never become on the free market because um, that will lead to mass movement of wealthy people from China. They're currently why they are not leaving China is because they're not able to trade their Chinese yuan to dollars. So if that is freely traded, then the some of the elite will then move away, which in turn, if they move away and they take away their business, is going to collapse the Chinese economy to an extent because it's very fragile. It needs all the money it can have to just keep it afloat because they are massively in debt. Secondly, it is the control that Xi Jinping has um, over the people, over the financial market. That as long as they can keep status quo, everything doesn't collapse. Um, in terms of brains, in terms of money flowing out of China, because according to him, there is many who wants to move whenever whenever it's able to, because they, I don't know why, but can guess they want to live in a more free country. Or they're not on the good side of Xi Jinping. Doesn't really matter. Secondly, or thirdly, sorry, in terms of dollar being irrelevant, BRICS. You know what? You know what the funny part about BRICS is, people. It, okay, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna blame you, but those who believe BRICS is going to take over the world is ludicrous. Let me explain. Chinese yuan is too unstable, it's too volatile, and too liquid to become anything at this point. It can become something, but when Saudi Arabia trades in Chinese yuan, they will lose billions. So they have to trade it quickly back to dollar, so that they don't lose the value of their produce, of their oil. So they're still dependent on dollar because of their sheer volume and the sheer, because it is not traded on the upper market. The Chinese one is too volatile. It's still an very exotic currency. Secondly, when it comes to India, India is buying tons of oil from Russia, another of the BRICS countries. The funny thing is that just makes Russia have a lot of Indian rupee, sorry. Like, what are they going to do with that? They don't have a trade on the other side. So, in the end, are they going to? Well, maybe China is going to buy that Indian rupee though. But in the end, when you have accumulated a ton of Indian rupee because of you sold oil Indian rupee not in dollars, you can't trade it. Like, you have so much of it. Like, but who wants Indian rupee, for crying out loud, other than India? Then the problem is they don't have a trade relation. At least not now. At least not until they make like a railroad and water road through Iran, which I saw the other day. Fine, good idea, but it's not there yet. And Brazil, does Brazil have any power on the financial markets? No. So the share volume is low. The alternatives are too volatile for any central bank to make for any central bank to even consider holding those other currencies that they're trying to trade in. And fourthly, it's more like people are being fooled in this world that dollar is going to fall. Yeah, dollar is going to fall because of lack of higher interest rates, not because of BRICS, not because of China, not because of whatever. And yes, there's less people trading the dollar. Sure, good, we hit all of them, but that's kind of what we want because it's too strong at the moment. Fine, good, but you have to see the sheer volume of the trade in currencies, and especially in dollar, every single day. They're not even having a drip of it. So my point is do you think dollar will become irrelevant? No. Why? Because of the sheer strength and the sheer resilience that the US economy has, because it's 75% dependent on itself. Now it can implode for that matter. It doesn't really matter that, but the problem is all the other alternatives. The alternative to dollar is anything else more volatile, less liquid, and difficult to get or difficult to hold, because who is going to trade with you? You have to have a significant trade with that country. So who's it going to be? We're always trying to find what is the alternative to dollar. Euro. Euro is depending on dollar. Euro is depending on America. Because it's their biggest trading partner, is how euro becomes stable is because America is stable. So in a sense, I'm kind of triggered by the lack of knowledge or a lack of botherness to sit down and think, what does BRICS do? What does China do? How is their economy doing? Is it strength? Why we're not trading Chinese yuan on the open market? Why? Oh, they don't want to. No, there is many reasons why they don't want to, and good reasons by the way. For some of them, quite good reason from the standpoint of China. They don't want money to run away. They don't want people to move out of China. They don't want the Chinese economy to collapse because it's a card house at this point. It's very fragile. And whatever is left to trade on is too unstable. So they don't have a deep bond market with a reserve currency, actually. Yeah. Slip my mind, but yeah, correct. Correct. Why is Japan so strong? Currency. Well, one of it's to have a humongous amount of, well, it's the biggest country, large country that has a debt bond that owns US bonds. Biggest dollar reserve currency in the world. Sorry, has the amount of dollars in reserve. But also their sheer strength of their own economy. But yeah. Trevin says it's an interesting way of looking at the dollar versus the yuan. Makes a lot of sense. Eugene says, quick question: how do you use Wings pivots if it breaks from range to market? Still use M2 for bullish? Is it? Yes, correct. Great designs. Evan, blessed up yourself. What's the plan today? Sell New Zealand. Plus, no one wants to put their money in the market where there isn't free and independent, and don't think people would ever trust a dictator. Feel confident that they one day would just lose their dollars. Another point here is, why would you? Well, the problem that has become apparent for the past 5 years, Jack Ma, is the interference by Chinese authorities into, well, Bitcoin, into Jack Ma, and Hong Kong, where they're trying to take over that. Have control of Hong Kong, which was supposed to be a British enclave, and and a free haven, and you kind of don't want to trade there anymore or do business there anymore because it there is the political risk of you just being taken over one day, which you probably have in Europe as well, but in a less greater deal. So in a free independent market where you when you think of business, there's a couple of core things that you think of. How likely are you to have policy changes overnight? What is the current policies and how likely are they to change? Secondly, what is the corruption level? How easy is it to identify and follow local laws, because they try to do that too, and 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 how possible is a hostile takeover? And unfortunately, China is one where corruption happens, where hostile takeover happens by the government, and it's kind of not. It's kind of the reason why we see more and more people. We also saw Apple leaving Foxconn, by the way, and they wanted to go to, was it India, Vietnam, or something? They left China because the other one is that Chinese manufacturing, no, Chinese manufacturing, salaries are becoming so high, so high that they are now moving what you would call the U.S. businesses out of China. But I heard China had more money printed in the U.S. I don't know about that though. Depends who your sources is. Not everyone has master's degree in economics. That's true. Well, I'm not gonna flex it, bro, but I guess I understand. I can understand it. When pivot points is worth it. My free version is different than yours, Evan. It's worth it if you're trying to be serious. If you're just trying to learn pivot points, it's not. But if you're trying to be serious about it, yeah. Why do I drink old coffee? Need for says, I don't wish ill will on the Chinese people, but but until a free market, I think you're right. When a market can't function on its own, there's too much corruption and manipulation. Now, Xi Jinping. I love your country. I love the Chinese people. I love Chinese food. Don't you worry. But you're making it difficult. Okay, you're making it difficult. That's all. Yeah, Buzz. Oh, Abaz, when am I invited to Bahrain? When can I come? Do you have like a date for me? Is your borders open now? Honestly, BRICS is all governments that are ran by dictators and prone to those to takeovers. Just stick together. And I've just seen. I'm sorry, people. I've just seen us. I've just seen how horrible ESCOM is in South Africa, and they went out of they went out of the Geneva Convention or whatever convention they went out of because of uh, because of Russia, and they're supposed to be neutral, and then Putin came down there. Fine, whatever, South Africa, whatever you do, have fun, enjoy your life, because the amount of S with ESCOM and the corruption, and apparently the former CEO is being charged with for defamation. Apparently, said that was it Jacob Zuma told him to let his comrades eat. He said that 2 billion South African rand every month is being stolen from ESCOM, which is the biggest electrical company, state-owned company that try to provide electricity, and they have blackout for 10 hours a day. And they were told many years ago to get their electricity back on track. They never did anything. And now in 2006, I tried to make 2 new coal plants or whatever. And are they still done? I don't know if they're done even. So it's another way of saying how poor leadership goes into how it affects the economy. And of course, with bad leadership, you have Robert Mugabe, for that matter. But yeah, all right, David. So keep sending us fake links and pad thai things. I don't need fake things, but I need my spring rolls and I need my bao and but yeah, experience on real life matters. All certificate means nothing until you get some stop losses alert, aren't we? Yeah, that's true. That's funny. That is funny. You need to ask, man. It's me. Okay, fine. So, all right, I will. What do you call that in international airport? Is it Aman? It's not Aman. It is. I will just show up on the airport. I will call you. Communism destroys everything. Yeah. So, fair enough. So that's economics, and it does affect how we trade the South African rand. By the way, if you're wondering, currently in profit on my British pound New Zealand dollar trade. If you guys are wondering, yeah. I got a dollar. I got a dollar. I got a dollar out of it. Yeah, I will. I will go to Oman, and then I don't know if I can go from Oman to but yeah, since Bahrain and Qatar doesn't really torture ship apparently, or unless it's like a boat. But yeah, I just need to send a message. Yeah, 1 more hour until I have another meeting. But so how are you guys doing today? Excuse me. Yeah. Finally, Tito. Finally. I've been lost and gone. I'm sorry. Can I apologize? I can apologize. It's a 20 minutes flight from Qatar. Okay. But yeah. Thanks. See ya. So do I need to book a hotel, Abbas, or do you have space on the floor for me? Are you looking at other pairs, Ivan? Yeah, I'm good to do that now. Quick question about where payment points. When it breaks from the range market, how does it work? We still wait for. I answered that Eugene earlier. So when you go from range bound to trendy, so what do we do then? Do we use M2? So here, for example, this is a range, right? And it still applies. Also, it depends kind of how it breaks out. Like if you call this as a breakout, are you going to look for M2 center pivot here? Yes, both center pivot and M2. So if you call that a range, that's a breakout. That's a pullback. Yeah, center pivot M2. Everything looks ugly to me. I can't get any trade for a long time. Okay, then I'm more aggressive than you then because I felt like I can take. Should I buy your New Zealand? Your New Zealand looks so juicy. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Bought it. Stop loss below previous low. So I just scalped there, bought there. Okay, sorry. That's wrong. Wrong there. Something like that. Small trade. We'll see if I'm wrong or right. Yeah. So when it comes to break after range, do you look for center pivot M2? M2, sorry, you look for center pivot and M2. Is there anything else I can show you that through that? Okay, squish it. For example, this is a range here. Take that away. That's a range, give or take. The question is here, if you call that a breakout, do you use M2 center pivot? And the answer is yes. So that really doesn't matter that much, to be honest. Yeah, actually, I have you on WhatsApp. Actually, well, that's true. True. Can you illustrate with the XY, please? Okay. 2 seconds. Sorry about that. How many ranges do we have on dollar? Okay, we have a range here, which, by the way, doesn't. I guess you do that, and then you're supposed to come back down to central pivot M2. It doesn't. Then next week you do the same thing. And you have that one, and then you have this one as well. Breakout maybe now. You're supposed to look for a buy here and a buy here. Yeah. So those, because once you break out or when it's no longer a range, it becomes a trend trade. So when you when we're trend trading, when we're trend trading, this rule still same applies. It is a trend by all means. But if you look at this market, for example, it kind of never just broke out and went higher. But that doesn't mean that your you look for continuation of trend and that one. Yeah. Is that a good enough answer? Is that a good enough explanation? But I don't like that trade though. Just to mention that, because it's a break and a retest where am I in the world? It's a break and retest of ranges, which tends to do that instead. So one time it went higher. But yeah, so I would rather buy that then. Continuation of trend. There we go. Continuation higher. Australia. Anyone want to buy that? Nope. Horrible range. So it did try to make a new high, which I mentioned to be high. Somewhere at least. Somebody knows that I did that. And then, yeah, it's just a range now. Nothing to be done here. So I'm currently $2 in profit on British pound, New Zealand dollar. Okay. Nothing great, huh? Nothing great. Where am I? Yeah. Your dollar? Yeah. Well, you said earlier about can I go to 1950, and I say yes. That looks like a great deal. Would I buy it up there? No. All right, Jack. Have a great day. See ya. Thank you for being here. So press the like button. Great. So that one should come up there. British pound. Uh-huh. You're joking. Okay. I'm not gonna take credit for this one. But I said yesterday, if you're gonna buy anywhere. Okay, I can't show you. Okay, I can have to go to the live stream then. Can I go to the live stream of Nick's yesterday? Can I prove that I said that yesterday? So you prove that I did say that yesterday? Excuse. I don't want to say that. They'd be like, "Oh, I mean, look at you. You are such a good trader. You always work trading what? You always try. You always go through. You never tell. Sorry, you always work in hindsight. That's what I was looking for. Ah, okay. Here we go. Here we go. Proof. Proof 124.64. It is around 42.52 for those who wants to do that. And what is 124.62? 62? 124.64. Aha! Aha! Boom! Ah, you got a lot of trading, bro. That's exactly the price. But I'm not going to take any credit for it. I didn't take it. I didn't trade it. But, it's a bit of fun, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, have you seen? Huh? Cool, good. That is that one. But yeah, still sells up there anyways, so doesn't really matter. New Zealand dollar, US dollar hasn't really gone up to the level I want to do before trading it. Okay. Not really anything there. USD CAD comes lower. I said maybe 135.80 before selling. This can be the high. True. Okay, cool. Euro New Zealand. Struggling at my entry price. But, something like that. Something like that. Small trade. Yeah. Small trader. Is there anything else we should power through, people? Yen pairs, gold, Aussie yen, nah, CAD yen, nah, euro yen. Euro yen makes a new high now. That's pretty great, eh? British pound, Japanese yen comes back hard down again. Oh, USD yen also comes down, so it seems like yen is getting stronger. Oil. Well, it's going to be more volatile in the US session, so nothing to think about right now. 71.54. Yeah, probably bearish overall, so just wait for it. Gold doesn't come up as a new high yet, so there's a dead fish as well there. Platinum, not really anything great. Use this with say range. Nothing fantastic there. Cats receive doesn't really care, doesn't really bother. US receive is lower. BTC is 27,236, which is higher than last time I saw it, but it has gone into another range. So that's enough babbling of me. Most of you are bored of me. So you're New Zealand to the upside. 73.50 stop loss ish. Also, New Zealand, haven't bought yet, but I'm probably going to do that soon. Pound New Zealand, another one that I have bought. I am currently $1.82 in profit. Sorry. So we'll see if this one makes a new high above 2.0065. I will buy the pullback again. All right, now you know. Cool, good. Boom. See you.